What up? Welcome to another deck profile. This is Rodolf Duskbringer deck. It's called Life Gain is Cringe, but this is also a Reanimator, so it's a little bit better. Either way, yeah. Our commander is Rodolf. He looks like just a black creature, but he has this little ability that lets you pay black or white split mana, so he's Orzhov colors, which is nice. 6 mana 4/4, flying, death touch, lifelink. And whenever you gain life, Rodolf gains indestructible until end of turn. At the beginning of your end step, you may pay 1 and a Orzhov, or either. I'm not sure what the way to say that is. When you do, return target creature card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, where X is the amount of life you gain this turn. So the deck is just playing cards that give us life, making them indestructible to hit, and reanimating stuff. And yeah, doing Orzhov colors. So there's like a light aristocrats theme going through my sideboard. You'll see quite a few of those. But yeah, it's just kind of life gain, but we can also do reanimator stuff. And I put in some bombs because life gain needs bombs and not just turtling. Going through artifacts, I mean the first one, it's Aetherflux Reservoir. What a surprise. Pay 50 life, deal 50 damage to any target. If you're up to like 70 life, there's 1 or 2 people left, you just kill them. It's awesome. This card, very good. Aether or Arcane Signet, I guess also just quickly, also it's just life gain. Whenever you cast a spell, you gain 1 life. Let's say somebody tries to destroy your commander at instant speed, you can in response do something else at instant speed, gain 1 life, he gains indestructible. He's no longer destroyed. Yeah, it's a fun thing. Instant speed life gain this deck is a sub-theme. But yeah, Arcane Signet, it's ramp. Excalibur 2, it's not ramp. It is kind of just there to make your commander bigger, so whenever you gain life, you put a charge counter on Excalibur 2. And then equip creature gets +1/+1 for each charge counter on Excalibur 2. Notably, this means that even if the creature dies, Excalibur 2 keeps its charges. So when you equip it to whatever else you equip it to, that will just instantly get really big. It's also just 1 mana, so it's really easy to play on turn 1. Lightning Greaves is in here as protection. There's not much targeting of your own creatures in the deck. Orzhov Signet's in here for ramp because we're playing a 6 mana commander. Pristine Talisman, kind of ramp, but also you gain 1 life. You can tap this at instant speed to just give protection to your commander, or indestructible. Skull Clamp, it's kind of an aristocrat's piece. It's a card draw engine. I think it's pretty good in the deck. Soul Ring is ramp. Swiftfoot Boots, same as Lightning Greaves, it's just protection. Talisman of Hierarchy, just ramp. Wind Crystal, kind of ramp, making your white spells cost 1 less. It's mainly in here for if you gain life, you gain twice that much life instead. Also you can pay 6 creatures you control gain flying and lifelink until end of turn, which could be a finisher against opponents that don't have any flyers and you have a big board. But yeah, it's mainly in here to double your life gain. Thought Vessel's ramp, and so is Wayfarer's Bauble. Well of Lost Dreams, this is an interesting card draw piece. So it's a 4-mana artifact. Whenever you gain life, you may pay X, where X is the less than or equal to the amount of life you gained. If you do, you draw that X cards. So you gain 4 life, you have 2 mana left over, you can just pay the 2 mana and draw 2 cards. It's not bad, it's not great. It's kind of just in here because I've been really prioritizing on just having a lot of card draw, just to see as much of the deck as possible whenever you play. I think it's not a right card, but yeah, not great. One of the creatures, Aerith Gainsborough, surprisingly cracked. I've already gone through my artifacts, so we know we're not running the Agatha's Soul Cauldron combo with her and Walking Ballista, which is a fun little thing. But she's a 3-mana 2/2 lifelink. Whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on Aerith Gainsborough. And when Aerith Gainsborough dies, put X 1/1 counters on each legendary creature you control, where X is the number of 1/1 counters on Aerith Gainsborough. This is good. You can just buff your commander with this. We're running a few other legends, but this is mainly in here just to make her big. If she sticks on the board, she just becomes kind of a threat by herself. And when she dies, we're running a few legends, not that many, but we can just like buff our commander, which is sick. Amalia Benavide Aguirre, ward pay 3 life. Whenever you gain life, she explores, then destroy all other creatures if its power is exactly 20. And exploring is you reveal top card, you can put it into your hand if it's a land. Otherwise, you put a 1/1 counter on this creature, and you can put that card into your hand, or into the graveyard, or on top of the deck. So it's mainly in here as just like a little way to surveil, essentially, or add lands to hand. Just as a card advantage piece, we're not doing any like crazy degenerate stuff like she was doing in Pioneer before she got banned. Angel Vitality, 3-mana 2/2. If you would gain life, you gain that much life +1 instead, which is pretty much why we're running the card. Also, she gets +2/+2 as long as you have 25 or more life, which in a format where you start with 40 life and you're playing life gain is almost all the time, unless you're going to lose. Ailey, Eternal Pilgrim, 2 mana, 2/3 Death Touch. You can pay 1, sack a creature, gain life equal to sacrifice creature's toughness. This is a bit of an aristocrat's piece. It's also just a way to gain life at instant speed for your commander. And also pay 3, sacrifice creature, exile target non-land permanent. Activate this ability only if you have at least 10 life or more than your starting life total. Not hard to do in this deck. Blood Artist, just a great card. Whenever a creature dies, target player loses 1 life, you gain 1 life. Carmen, Cruel Sky Marcher, 5 mana, 2/2. Whenever a player sacrifices a permanent, put a 1/1 counter on Carmen, and you gain 1 life. And whenever Carmen attacks, return up to 1 target permanent card with mana value less than or equal to Carmen's power from your graveyard to the battlefield. The making her big by sacrificing isn't that relevant in this deck. I think there are a few pieces that you could put in to make it more consistent, but it's also a recursion piece on a 2/2 flyer, and our curve, I believe, is pretty low. Yeah, a lot of like 1s and 2s, so it's pretty easy to get her to bring something back. Creeping Bloodsucker, 2 mana, 1/2 at the beginning of your upkeep. It deals 1 damage to each opponent. You gain life equal to the amount of damage dealt this way. This will just give your commander indestructible every turn, or at least on every one of your turns. But yeah, it's just upkeep. Your commander gets indestructible. Sick. Cruel Celebrant, 2 mana, 1/2. Whenever it or another creature or planeswalker you control dies, each one lose 1 life. You gain 1 life. Kind of like Blood Artist, but a little bit worse because it only affects you. Crypt Gas, 4 mana, 2/2 with Extort. And whenever you tap a swamp for mana, add an additional black. It's kind of a ramp piece. Also, Extort does work with the life gain that your commander wants. Extort being a super broken commander mechanic. I've said it a bunch, I'll say it again. I don't know why pinging 1 to 3 people gives you 3 life for 1 mana, but it does, and we're going to take advantage of that in this deck. Drana's Emissary, 3 mana, 2/2 flying at the beginning of your upkeep. Each opponent lose 1 life, you gain 1 life. This is similar to Creeping Bloodsucker. Kind of same card, just on your upkeep, give your commander indestructible and its life gain piece. Elseal Core, Sadistic Pilgrim, whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. This is mainly for your commander, and then whenever another creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life. Not as relevant, but alright in the deck. It's also a 2 mana, 2/2 with that touch, which is just a good stat line for defending and attacking. Alenda's Hierophant, 3 mana, 1/1. Whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on Alenda's Hierophant, and whenever it dies, you make X 1/1 white vampire creature tokens with lifelink, where X is its power. This is life gain on the death trigger, and it is life gain support when you gain life by just making her bigger, and she's a flyer, which is awesome. Enduring Tenacity, 4 mana, 4/3. Whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. When you're playing a life gain deck, this is just a very good effect. And when it dies, if it was a creature, you return it as a enchantment. Essence Chandler, 2 mana, 2/1. As long as you've lost life this turn, it has flying and vigilance. Not likely to happen, but whenever you gain life, you put a 1/1 counter on Essence Chandler, and when it dies, put its counters on target creature control. So this will just keep it big, and then when it dies, it'll make something else big. It's a good value piece. Gary, or Gray, Merchant of Asphodel. When it enters, each opponent loses X life, or X your devotion of black. You gain life equal to the life lost this way. This card's super good. Any deck where you're running enough black pips, I think you just auto run this card. I mean, even with like only your commander on board, it does just say gain 9 life for 5 mana, and you drain everybody for 3, which is pretty good. Guide of Souls, this is a soul sister. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life and get an energy, and then whenever you attack him, pay 3 energy, put 2 1/1 counters on and a flying counter on a attacking creature. It becomes an angel in addition to its other types. Second part is just a nice little bonus, but yeah, it's mainly in here for the soul sister effect of whenever a creature enters, you gain 1 life. Cannonball, Console of Allocation. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, that player loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. When it's on board, your commander is really hard to get rid of unless they have like an exile effect or a like sacrifice effect. They try and cast something like a instant speed removal, a generous gift on your commander. It just gains indestructible because they cast a non-creature spell and you gain 2 life. Very good card. This will just pull a lot of aggro at the table, which is a bit of a problem. Thankfully, you're playing life gain, so it shouldn't be too bad unless somebody's playing like a big commander damage deck. Rotting Blight Priest, 3 mana, 3/2. Whenever you gain life, each opponent loses that 1 life. It's just a little value piece to kind of like generate a win con. Because the problem with life gain is it kind of feels like it dirtles a lot. It just gains life, but it doesn't ever trying to win. That's why things like Marauding Blade Priest, Enduring Tenacity, Aetherflux Reservoir are all in the deck as a way to finish. Markov Purifier, 3 mana, 2/3 lifelink at the beginning of your end step. If you gain life this turn, you may pay 2. If you do, draw a card. Very easy to gain life on your turn, so this is just a little card advantage piece. Morbid Opportunist, whenever one or more other creatures die, draw a card. Only happens once each turn. Again, just a card advantage piece. Pontiff of Blight, 6 mana, 2/7 with Extort, and other creatures you control have Extort. This is a potential finisher if your board goes wide enough. You just cast something small and then extort it for a lot, and you gain a lot of life and you deal a lot to each opponent. Soul Warden is just a Soul Sister. Whenever another creature comes into play, you gain 1 life. All this affects everybody, unlike the other guy that only affects your creatures. Soul's Attendant, whenever another creature enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life. It's Soul Sister too, Electric Boogaloo. It's also more expensive, which kind of sucks, but hey, that's how the game goes. Starscape Cleric, 2 mana, 2/1, Offspring for 3, can't block, has flying, and whenever you gain life, each opponent lose 1 life. Again, same with like Marauding Blade Priest, this is just a value piece to get your opponent's life slower, because yeah, you're playing life game. Sun Titan, 6 mana, 6/6, Vigilance, whenever it enters or attacks, you may return target permanent card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. It's a good recursion piece. I think in a deck like this, where you're fine with having a lot of things die because you can bring them back with your commander, Sun Titan's also a good piece to have. Sunscorched Regent, 5 mana, 4/3, flying. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, put a 1/1 counter on this creature, and you gain 1 life. This is similar to Camball, where whenever anybody tries to do anything, you're just going to give your commander indestructible for the turn. So yeah, it's just a really good piece. It's a 5 mana, 4/3 with flying too, which, you know, it can hit people. The Gaffer, 3 mana, 2/3 at the beginning of each end step. If you gain 3 or more life this turn, draw a card. It's card advantage. It's a cheap body. It's pretty alright. Twilight Prophet, 4 mana, 2/4, flying, ascend. So if you control 10 or more permanents, you get the City's Blessing for the rest of the game. And at the beginning of your upkeep, if you have the City's Blessing, reveal top card of your library and put it into your hand. Each opponent loses X life, and you gain X life, where X is that card's mana value. This is card advantage, and it's burn. Towards other people, and it's life gain. It kind of does everything. It is a 4 mana, 2/4, and you need to ascend for it, but that shouldn't be too hard in Commander. Veto, Thorn of the Dusk Rose. Whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life, and for 5, you can give creatures you control lifelink. It's kind of just another finisher piece. It's similar to Enduring Tenacity, where you're just trying to burn your opponents down with your life gain effects. Zulaport Cutthroat, 2 mana, 1/1. Whenever this creature or another creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. Apparently, this is also the cheapest printing of the card. I'm quickly going to check this. Price. Wow. That's wild. The Secret Layers is the cheapest printing of a card. Alright. On the enchantments, Authority of the Consuls, creatures your opponents control enter tapped, and whenever a creature an opponent controls enters, you gain 1 life. It's kind of just played for the second effect. It's going to pull a lot of aggro for the first effect, but so is life gain in general. Blind Obedience, 2 mana, artifacts and creatures your opponents control enter tapped, but it has Extort. It's pretty much only in here because it has Extort, and it's a really good Extort card, which is just life gain. Case of the Uneaten Feast, whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life, so it's like a Soul Sister effect. To solve, you've gained 5 or more life this turn, which is pretty easy, and when it's solved, you can sacrifice this case creature cards in your graveyard. Gain, you may cast this card from your graveyard until end of turn, so it becomes a nice little recursion piece for 1 mana. Cleric class, if you would gain life, you gain that much life plus 1 instead. Level 2, whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on target creature control. And level 3, when this class becomes level 3, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. You gain life equal to its toughness. So it's a recursion effect. Now, to be fair, that recursion effect is locked behind like 10 mana. But it also does good generic value things. Leyline of Hope, 4 mana. It's a leyline, so it can enter at the beginning of the game for free. And if you gain life, you gain that much life plus 1, as long as you have 7 life more than your starting life total. Creatures you control get +2/+2. So it makes all your things big, and you gain more life. So there's no downside. Vampiric Rites, 1 mana, and for 2 you can sack creature, gain 1 life, draw a card. This is nice to kind of just give your commander instant speed, indestructible. Also, you can sack a creature, pay 2, bring it back, and it's kind of just like paying 4 mana to get another ETB and drawing a card. Which, not that efficient, but could be better than nothing. Onto the instance. I mean a lot of removal because, you know, we're playing Orzhov, Anguish Unmaking. Dark Rituals here to ramp because we're playing a 6-mana commander. Deadly Dispute as a, I don't know, just kind of aristocrat's value piece. You get a treasure and you draw 2. The Spark's a removal piece, so is Generous Gift, so is Mortify, so is Path to Exile. Restoration Magic is, I think this card's actually really crazy. It's 1 mana, target permanent gains hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. You can also pay an extra 1 to give a permanent hexproof and indestructible, and you gain 3 life, so you could give this to something else, and then for the extra mana, gain 3 life, make your commander indestructible. Or you could pay 5 in total, permanents you control gain hexproof, indestructible, and you gain 6 life, and this affects everything you control, which is good for board wipes. Revitalize, 2 mana, gain 3 life, draw a card. It's kind of just instant speed, life gain. Swords is swords. I'm going to ignore the lands because I don't think there's anything good. We'll quickly go over it at the end. On the sorceries, Fumigate, but it has to do with life gain. I'm playing a board wipe, but it's kind of related to the topic of the deck, so that's why I put it there. Night's Whisper, draw 2, lose 2 life. I don't know, it's card draw, and I feel like I'm just putting this in every black deck right now. It's only 1 black pet, so that's really good. Damn, destroy target creature, or you can overload it for 4 to destroy all creatures that can't be regenerated. I think this card is super duper good, pretty much goes in every deck that can run it. And Toxic Deluge as a really, really good board wipe. I'll go to the sideboard now. This is a lot of aristocrat pieces, because originally this deck was more focused on that before I decided to go more into life gain. It was also because I put like 140 cards in the deck, and I'm like, oh, I gotta cut things. So like Carrion Feeder is kind of just a sack outlet. Alenda, the Dusk grows whenever another creature dies, put a 1/1 counter on Alenda, and then when it dies, you make a bunch of white vampire creature tokens with lifelink. I think this card could very easily still be played in the deck. It's just, with not enough like guaranteeing of making creatures die, it's kind of whatever. Elspeth, this will just make like 3 1/1 soldiers each turn, and it could be a board wipe. Exsanguinate wasn't really in it as like a aristocrats piece. I thought of it as a good finisher and a life gain piece, but I think it's just like, it's too unreliable. Maybe it still has a spot in the deck, I'm not sure. Glasscast Heart, I love this card. It's just 1 mana, pay 1 life, make a 1/1 white and black vampire creature token with lifelink. So the 1 life doesn't actually matter. It's just 1 black to make a vampire. So yeah, it's just good token generator. Also, it makes blood tokens when vampires attack, so that's cool. Hinterland Sanctifier, this is kind of just Soul Sister. Whenever another creature you control enters, you gain 1 life. Inspiring Overseer, 3 mana 2/1. When it enters, you gain 1 life, draw a card. I think if this card had flash, I'd probably play it. But it's not instant speed, so it's just like, cool, main phase 1, I'm going to play this. My commander's going to get indestructible. And it's kind of whatever. I get a card draw, which is cool, but for 3 mana, who cares? Cannonball, whenever 1 or more tokens enter the battlefield under your opponent's control, for each of them, create a tap token that's a copy of it. This ability triggers only once each turn, and then whenever 1 or more tokens enter the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life, you gain 1 life. I'm just not running enough token generators. I mean, if I run more token generators, go more into aristocrats, I think this automatically goes in, because then it's just a life gain effect for your commander protection. Suture Priest, 2 mana 1/1. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may gain 1 life. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your opponent's control, you may have that player lose 1 life. I think there was just enough life gain, and this didn't feel impactful enough to keep. It's also a 1/1, which doesn't feel great. Village Rites, 1 mana, sack a creature, draw 2. Just kind of like an aristocrat's piece. And then Viscera Seer is just like, you know, your generic sack outlet that's really good. On the maybe board, there's a difference because these are cheap and these are not cheap. If you want to like just boost the shit out of the deck, play these cards. Bloodthirsty Conqueror, Flying Death Touch. Whenever an opponent loses life, you gain that much life. We're playing the other half of the effect with whenever you gain life and an opponent loses life. So yeah, this just makes the effect go infinite. It's similar to Sanguine Bond, Sanguine Bond, and it's not Exsanguinate, I don't think. Maybe it is. Wait. No, it's not Exsanguinate. It's the other half of that. Oh, it's Exquisite Blood. There we go. I have them right here. But yeah, this is the other half of the combo. This is the combo. Exquisite Blood. Whenever an opponent loses life, you gain that much life. And whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. They just go infinite. They auto win the game. Sanguine Bond, also super cheap. I would maybe consider actually running this card. I didn't realize it was $2 or $3. This was like a $10 card. This card's $40 somehow. Sephiroth, this is a $55 card, which is the main reason why it's on the deck. Also because it's not aristocratic enough. Whenever it enters or attacks, you may sacrifice a creature to draw a card, and it has a Blood Artist effect, and when it flips after 4 times happening in one turn, you just get a Blood Artist token, and you can sack things to draw things when he attacks. Kind of whatever. I mean, really, really good in Aristocrats, but in this deck it'd be kind of whatever. Sarah Senna, hey, this is a great life gain piece, but it's a 1 mana 6/6 with lifelink for $30. I mean, sure, if you want to boost the deck, just play it. And then Shieldred, which is up to $85. What's going on? We're waiting for the standard rotation for it to go down, I guess. But yeah, I mean, quickly going through the lands, it's a lot of just like really generic stuff. Silent Clearing, you can pay a life to add a white or black. This is an $8 card. I'd probably not even buy this card if I was like personally building the deck. Running enough basics for the Snarl to be good. Scoured Barrens enters tapped, but you gain a life, so that helps on your commander. And then like High Market, you can sack creature, gain a life. Not bad. But yeah, that's the deck. Thank you very much for watching. I'll be back next week. I'm working on a really, really weird Final Fantasy Commander deck in Esper colors. So maybe we'll have that next week. Or it'll just be like dumbed down to like, I don't know, Voltron. We'll see. Goodbye.